Hello, YouTube. This is another video dealing with some of the things that are confusing in the Bible. Confusing? Is that the word I really meant to use? Contradictory. I've had several people in comments on several of my videos say, just show me one contradiction in the Bible, and I'll take you seriously. But the Bible never contradicts itself, they say. Well, I think I found a pretty clear and obvious one. Beginning in 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33, for God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. God is not the author of confusion. And yet, the greatest confusion that could possibly be visited upon the human race is the confusion of its languages. Our difficulties, many of our difficulties, political, religious, and every other way, come directly from our inability to understand each other. Muslims these days who are trying to tell us that we should accept the Quran, if we have anything negative to say, they say, well, do you understand Arabic? Because if you don't know what you're talking about. Translations, that's meaningless. You have to understand it in the original tongue. So apparently confusions like language are the most divisive of all. So let me start out with Genesis. Chapter 11 and verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to one another, Go, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime they had for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they now begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. All it takes is the imagination. As we've now discovered, once we do understand each other, imagining going to the moon made it possible. That's why almost anything can probably occur once enough people put their minds to it. Verse 7, Go to, let us go down there and confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord, scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. Now this is going to be a relatively brief video because the statement and its contradiction are pretty clear. Now you can look these things up yourself. The first one is 1 Corinthians 14, verse 33. The other is the beginning of Genesis 11, verses 1 through 9. God is not the author of confusion. He created the greatest possible confusion if you take his book to be the inerrant word of the very master of the universe. He created the divisions that have cost the blood of so many millions over many centuries or millennia. The fact that people simply do not understand each other. Even translations, as we know from this Bible itself, from one language into another and into another and into another, over and over, being translated and retranslated, and yet some people insist that this has all been done with utter purity and that everything in it is absolutely correct because God wouldn't permit it to be otherwise. And yet these contradictions keep cropping up. I don't remember now who asked me for a single contradiction, but I think I just came up with a pretty good one. Whatever you have to add to this, I'll be interested to hear it. Thanks very much for watching.